Hey guys, welcome to the world of protozoa. In this video, you are going to learn about protozoas and the details of it. Let us begin with the physical characteristics of protozoa. Protozoas are a type of unicellular eukaryotic organism.
Their sizes and shapes varies greatly, ranging from microbial, which is about 1 micrometer, to large enough to be seen by the naked eyes. Unlike humans, protozoa do not have gastrointestinal system. Therefore, how do protozoa digest their food?
Protozoas are heterotrophic and have holozoic nutrition. They ingest their food by phagocytosis. Certain types of protozoas have a specialized structure called cytostome, which allows them to feed by phagocytosis. Protozoas are flexible and are found in various shapes because they lack a rigid cell wall. The cells are enclosed by a thin plasma membrane. Some protozoas have other supporting layers such as pellicles, which may be flexible or rigid. Most protozoa have either flagella, cilia, or pseudopodia, which mainly aids in locomotion. Protozoas are found in aquatic environments, such as freshwater or under the sea, live as free-living organisms, while others are parasitic. Most of them are aerobic, but some may be anaerobic. They can be present in the rumen or human intestines. Some can even form cysts in order to overcome unfavorable environments. So, how do protozoas reproduce?
Protozoa mainly reproduce asexually through binary fission, longitudinal fission, transverse fission, and budding.
Actually, protozoa is a big family as it comprises a variety of organisms. And there are 4 major groups of protozoa that we will discuss about. Since young, I believe that all of us are taught that amoeba is one of the organisms under protozoa. But do you all know what group does amoeba fall under? It is actually under the group of Sarcodina or amoeboid. Their main habitats are in damp soil, fresh water, and the ocean. They have irregular shapes as they do not have any pellicles. Pseudopodia are very important to Sarcodina as these temporary arm-like projections are used to move and engulf food. Amoeboid living in fresh water consists of contractile vacuoles which expel excess water from the cell. Reproduction of Sarcodina is mainly by binary fission and cyst formation.
Secondly, flagellated protozoas are the group of protozoas that either live freely or as parasites. They have cuticles or pellicles that covers their body and maintain their shape. Obviously, as the name suggests, they do have flagellas that are responsible for locomotion. The freshwater form of flagellated protozoas contain contractile vacuoles. This type of protozoas mainly reproduce asexually, which is by binary fission.
Some of the examples of flagellated protozoans are Trypanosoma, Trichomonas, Giardia, and Leishmania. Besides that, sporozoans are actually one of the endoparasites. They do not have any specially designed organ like flagella or cilia that helps in the locomotion. However, with the presence of pellicles, sporozoans are able to move around due to the subpellicular microtubules in pellicles. This type of sporozoans can reproduce sexually or asexually, in which sporozoites will be formed in the reproductive process. Plasmodium, Nosema, and Globidium are the examples of sporozoans. Last but not least, ciliated protozoans are one of the types of protozoa. As the name tells, ciliated protozoans have many cilia that plays a crucial role in aiding the locomotion of cells and ingestion of food.
They are aquatic and actively propelled by cilia, and the movement of cilia helps to bring food into the gullet.
These type of protozoans have a fixed shape as they are covered by pellicle coating. They consist of contractile vacuoles too. Cysts are produced in addition to transverse division reproduction. This protective capsule allows the protozoans to survive under adverse conditions. And examples of ciliated protozoans include Paramecium, Vorticella, and Balantinum.
These are some of the examples of important human disease caused by protozoa. This is an Anopheles mosquito. One of the most important human disease caused by protozoa is malaria, which is a mosquito-borne disease. This mosquito-borne disease affects humans and other animals. Malaria is mainly transmitted by Anopheles mosquitoes, which can be infected by 5 parasitic species. Among the 5, Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium vivax pose the greatest threat. This is the life cycle of the protozoa.
Malaria can also be transmitted by exposure to infected blood. Examples of that are from mother to unborn child,
Through blood transfusions or by sharing needles used to inject drugs. There are multiple signs and symptoms caused by malaria. The common ones are fever, headache, nausea, and vomiting. Diarrhea, abdominal pain, muscle or joint pains are among the more serious symptoms. However, the most distinguishable symptoms are rapid breathing, cough, anemia, and jaundice, especially jaundice, which is the yellowing of the skin and eyes due to the loss of red blood cells. The symptoms may be seen as early as 7 days or as late as 1 year after the infection, but most people will begin experiencing symptoms 10 days to 4 weeks after infection. Everyone is vulnerable to malaria, but it is more dangerous to certain people as shown. Children, infants, older adults have weaker immune systems. Travelers from areas with no malaria are generally less protected from malaria and hence will experience more severe symptoms compared to the general population. Pregnant women are also at high risk, mainly due to the fact that their unborn child are more susceptible to the infection, and this may lead to complications. There are prevention steps to avoid malaria, mainly to just avoid mosquito bites. Precautions such as covering of skin with long-sleeve shirts and long pants in mosquito-infected areas.
or by applying insect repellent to the skin or clothing, crucial to prevent transmissions from happening.
Another disease caused by protozoans is the African trypanosomiasis disease. It is also known as the sleeping sickness. It is caused by microscopic parasites and are transmitted by the tsetse fly. The tsetse fly is only found in sub-Saharan Africa, also called the Glossina species. The protozoan responsible for the infection is the Trypanosoma brucei rhodesiensis, or the Trypanosoma brucei gambion's parasites. However, the proportion of tsetse flies that are infected with the parasites is low. The disease is mostly transmitted by bites, but a few other methods are also known, such as mother-to-child infection, as the trypanosoma can cross the placenta, accidental infections in laboratories due to pricks with contaminated needles, and through sexual contact. There are multiple symptoms caused by the disease, mainly fever, severe headaches, irritability, extreme fatigue, swollen lymph nodes, and aching muscles and joints. Typically, the symptoms will occur within 1 to 3 weeks after the infection. Hunters, villagers with the infected cattle herds, tourists, or even agriculture, fishing, and animal husbandry income-dependent people are more vulnerable to the infection, mainly because they are closer to the source of infection and are more exposed to the vectors. Similar to malaria, protective clothing should be used to prevent tsetse flies. The tsetse flies can bite through thin fabric. They are also attracted to brightly colored clothing, so be careful and try to wear neutral colored clothing. Besides, moving vehicles will attract the tsetse flies as well. You can also check vehicles for the flies before entering. Bushes should also be avoided as tsetse flies are more likely to be found there. Lastly, you can also use insect repellents to prevent the biting. There are multiple drugs that are developing or have already developed resistance to the existing antibiotics. Among them are anti-malarial drug resistance, where malaria-causing protozoans are resistant to artemisinin and partners on artemisinin combination therapy. They are the first line of treatment advised by the World Health Organization. This poses a danger to the control and elimination of malaria. 3 of the 5 malaria species that infect humans are the Plasmodium falciparum, P. vivax, and Plasmodium malariae, have been shown to be resistant to anti-malarial medications. In malaria endemic areas, evaluation of drug resistance biomarkers and therapeutic efficacy studies would help to identify the resistant parasite and to comprehend the level and extent of resistance specific to a given population. Anti-trypanosomal drug resistance is also another problem. There is an urgent need for new medications, primarily because pentamidine and melarsoprol, which have been used for decades to treat African trypanosomiasis, are becoming less effective. Higher levels of drug resistance in rural and endemic areas can be justified by the zoonotic characteristics of the disease and by the indiscriminate and improper use of chemically similar drugs in humans and animals. In conclusion, protozoas are eukaryotic multicellular organisms that can be either free-living or parasitic. Most free-living protozoa reproduce asexually, while parasitic protozoa reproduce both asexually and sexually. Most protozoas are also heterotrophic, and there are 4 main types of protozoa: Mastigophora, Sarcodina, Sporozoa, and Coelophora. The 2 main diseases which are caused by protozoas is malaria, which is caused by the Anopheles mosquito, and African sleeping disease, caused by the Trypanosoma brucei species flies. There are a few strains of protozoa that has grown resistant to the antibiotics used to treat malaria and the African sleeping sickness.